Holy shit. Gears of War E-Day is awesome. It's fucking amazing, bro. I loved playing the multiplayer beta. I know a lot of people have already gotten access to it, but it's my turn with the game, and it's my turn to put in my 2 cents. It is honestly phenomenal. It is sensational. It's the best Gears has been in a long time. I did not like Gears of War 5, let me be clear. I thought the gameplay was very well refined, and I think the Coalition slash Epic Games have done a really good job at refining the movement, the aiming, everything about the gameplay as much as they could from 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Gears 5, even though it did a lot of good, it also took some stylistic choices in a way that I didn't really like. But the gameplay was still very solid, still very strong, right? But Gears of War E-Day, thankfully, is not Gears 5. Gears of War E-Day is what I would describe as fresh yet familiar. Honestly, the moment I picked this game up, I was playing off of muscle memory. But let me break down a little bit further, right? So when I loaded into the game, I didn't touch boot camp. I skipped it. I just went straight into my first multiplayer match. And the foundations and bones of what Gears of War is still here. But it has been very modernized. And that's not always a good thing, but I would say for Gears, it is to its benefit. So, the core mechanics are still present, such as cover-based shooting, blind fire, combat rolls, active reloading for faster reloads and more powerful shots, while bouncing remains to a certain extent, vaulting over cover, classic Gears of War dynamics. But it has been modernized in many minute ways that aggregate greatly. Okay, so firstly, rodeo running has been replaced with regular sprinting, except it is now more dynamic in allowing you to make slightly sharper turns to round corners without losing momentum. You can now slide off of sprint to take cover or to dodge enemy fire while maintaining offensive capabilities. Mantling over higher walls and cover spots to gain some verticality. Jumping across large gaps to traverse into different areas. And all of these tweaks might seem small at face value, but again, they add up to a really refreshing feel. Gears of War might not have needed it to the eyes of some fans, but I do think it's for the better. It changes the game in ways to prevent it from being stagnant and stale, but it still retains the core of what a Gears of War game should have. Last thing I'll say about the movement is this. I do not care what people say. Wall bouncing, where it is right now with E-Day, is perfect. I know it's a movement tech that the pros love to glaze and low skilled players love to hate, but this is the perfect middle ground. The people saying that it's gone, here it is, man. Here's a proof that it has not been cut. Is it as fast as before? No, of course not. I know for a fact this is not peak ultimate gameplay right here, right? But I mean, I can pull this off, and I've seen clips of others pulling off either similar things or way better wall bouncing than what I'm showing you right now. Wall bouncing has just been more fine-tuned to be more intentional because all the animations have been cleaned up in ways that, again, may be small, but sum up to a greater experience. With more frames in every animation, characters now truly feel like walking tanks. The startup to a run, the lunge and recovery from a combat roll, taking cover, mantling walls. It is very explosive yet hefty. Quick little niche pool for anyone who's watched any of my early videos, but I did make a quick little rant on why weight matters in games, and Gears of War was one of my highlights. So to me, E-Day finds that perfect middle ground. Explosive dynamic movements that lead to fast-paced combat, decorated in heavy weighted movements to make players more intentional behind every decision without necessarily feeling sluggish or bogged down. And I do believe this is the best it's been because now new players of lower skill have a lower barrier of entry when it comes to multiplayer, but higher skilled players can still show off mastery without just mollywhopping everyone who isn't doing the wall bouncing tech. The sandbox so far is in a great spot too, with this very limited look, but first let's cover the multiplayer. Gears of War's dedication and loyalty to symmetrical maps is honestly beautiful, so that hasn't changed. But again, verticality has, so walls and higher platforms can now be scaled or jumped onto, which really adds to the refreshing feel I keep mentioning. Depending on the players and the game mode, players aren't constantly going down the same 2 to 3 lanes during battles now because of the access you now have to attack from. Weapons have gotten some overhaul as well. The full auto weapons reward burst fire at range and full auto close up. The snub pistol no longer zooms but packs more of a punch. Lancer chainsaw startup is now faster, but it's not so fast that it's overpowered. And power weapons aren't just instant point and win guns, as they have a degree of balance or skill requirement. Except the Vulcan, that baby might be OP, but I love it. And just overall distinction slash separation. Less overlap and more identity to each weapon allows them to be useful in their own distinct way in the sandbox and have distinct charm to be somebody's favorite. Again, circling back to animations, reloading has been more contextualized now. The Nasher shotgun now loads a bullet one at a time, essentially making the active reload only save you just a couple of idle seconds instead of a whole 7 to 8 seconds. Also, depending on when you mess up the active reload, the character's mistake reflects that. Depending on if you did that mistake early or late, the unjamming of the weapon will be longer or shorter. Finally, the Horde Siege mode. There are 3 types of modes, which is Blitz, a quick in and out 3 waves game to get some XP or to get some PvE experience without committing to a huge time sink. There's Siege mode, which is a longer and more dynamic form of mode where you get in, you complete multiple objectives around the map, and then you get out. And then there is Horde mode, where you commit to 10 long waves of hunkering down and defending one objective. More traditional, but still part of the Siege version. The names are a little confusing in my opinion, but it's whatever, I suppose. All of these modes can take place at the same time with different squads doing different things, as there are typically 3 teams active at once, and you can leave at different times or arrive at different times. It is a unique spin on Horde, and it is a solid one. Okay, look, I'll say what I really like about it first, and then my criticisms will come after. Classes make a comeback, but in a simpler way relative to Gears 4 and Gears 5. You can still come in with different classes that have different loadouts, which you can customize as you progress, and thank God they didn't make that stupid decision to tie classes to characters like they did in Gears 5's launch. I like as well that the class abilities are supplemental to the Horde mode experience, but at the core of it all, it's still the gunplay and positioning. Also, I like that the defenses are made pretty simple, with buying them from the supply cache and throwing them down where you would please. All good, but my criticism is that as fancy as Horde Siege mode is, I do miss the classic Horde experience. Just going into a multiplayer map, having some degree of layout, and then just taking on Horde for 50 waves was just so much fun. Gears of War 3 and 4 did it best in my opinion, and I understand what they are going for, but when talking about it with friends, there's just something so special about really grinding out those 50 waves with bosses every 10 and coming out on top of it all. Maybe it's because it's just a beta, traditional Horde won't be here. Obviously, they won't use the Fabricator because from my understanding, it doesn't exist yet in the world. But if they do go back to something like Gears of War 3 setup, that would be perfect. I don't think Horde Siege and Classic Horde would necessarily divide the player base. I do think there's room for both, and I do think that if both aren't present within the first 3 months of launch, it'll hurt the game's overall run. But alright, I said a lot for what has literally just been a weekend of beta, but hey, I want this game to be great, and hopefully the coalition is seeing the feedback from its fans. They're doing great so far, but I think they could do greater. And I am very much looking forward to the launch in October. Anyway, that's it for me, fellas. So if you liked the video and if you like my rant, leave a like, comment down below your thoughts if you played the beta, and if you didn't get to play, make sure you play next week because it'll be free for everyone, August 13th and 17th. And this video ideally should come out before then. Ideally. Depending on if I can stop playing this game and just edit this together. Again, it's been so much fun, man. And every second I'm not playing, I am itching for more. But yeah, for real this time, take care, guys. And I'll see you on the next one. Also, don't forget to sub. Would mean the world.